Hey guys, I'm Nicole Byram, and thank you so much for tuning in to find out more about my book, Remade Living Free. That's what we've been doing. We've been going through the chapters of my book one by one, and I've just been given these brief overviews of the book. And so, if you've missed any of those, feel free to check out my YouTube channel. It's my name, Nicole Byram. Look me up, subscribe to this video, or I've been putting them on a couple of my Facebook pages. One is my name, Nicole Byram page, and also I have a page that is specific to the book, Remade Living Free. So I've been posting those videos there as well. So if you've missed any of the first 5 chapters, don't worry, you can find them and kind of get yourself caught up. But today we are talking about chapter 6, which is all about purpose, because that is a huge, huge question that is universal. Every single person at some point in their life, if not at multiple points in their life, wrestles with that question of purpose and why am I here? What's this all for? And does God really have a plan for me? So, chapter 6 attempts to answer that question. I think I do an okay job of that. So, the first thing that we talk about in the book, as far as our purpose, goes back to the book of Ecclesiastes and the words of Solomon when he said, the end of all the matter of all of mankind is to fear God and keep his commandments. Like that is the purpose. And you might be thinking like, wait, what? That's it? That's the whole like, what? That's boring, or that's not even, what are you talking about? That sounds ridiculous. Well, if you think that, good, check it out, because I think you might be surprised what you'll find in chapter 6. But I explore that whole idea of what it means to fear God. This is not a fear of like being afraid in the sense of somebody who is abusive and harmful. It's not that kind of a fear. So I talk about that, and I talk about what commandments are we to follow. Is this some kind of like huge rule book and there's all these things, and if I don't follow them, then I'm out? Like, no, not at all. Again, if you think that, all the more reason to check out the book, and specifically chapter 6. So we talk about that as our purpose, like kind of universal purpose is that we are here to do that, to follow God's commandments, to love him with our whole heart, and everything that we do is for his glory. Like that is our purpose. Our purpose is to glorify God. And don't worry, he doesn't give us this huge purpose of glorifying him and then fail to equip us. So I talk about how he gives us gifts. And I'm not talking about just our, the abilities that he gives us as far as our talents, things that, of that nature, which are from him as well. I'm talking about he even equips us even beyond that. He equips us spiritually with spiritual gifts. And I talk about what some of those are and what that means. And every believer, every single person who is in Christ has spiritual gifts. So how amazing is that? So I talk about just that and kind of what some of that means. I talk about how God has his timing is perfect, and he uses us in different ways and with different skills and abilities and spiritual gifts at just the right time. And I kind of tie back to a verse that I use kind of throughout the book, that we all have our own race to run. He gives us like individualized races and race plans, if you will. Because my race is different from your race and is different from everybody else's race. And he gives us what we need for each specific race. So, which is super cool. That is huge part of what the book is about. And so I talk about the story of Queen Esther. Some of you may be familiar with her story, some of you may not, but it's pretty cool. So, and again, check it out. It's a fantastic tie-in. It's a fantastic example of purpose. If you have ever doubted if God could use you, please read this chapter. Oh, and let me also add, so it's not always our strengths that he uses, right? Or the gifts, even though he absolutely gives us those for a reason and those things glorify him. I also touch on in there that it is our weaknesses as well, because it's in our weaknesses that he is glorified most, actually. So I use the example also of a blind man in the New Testament. And I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I really do want you to read it and check it out for yourself. But those are just some of the things that are in this book, Remade, Living Free, Chapter 6 specifically. So please check it out. You can find it on Amazon, available in paperback and in Kindle version as well. You can also find me at NicoleByram.com. I have a blog and a podcast there called 5 Minute Word, or you can find that podcast on anywhere that you get your podcast, Anchor, Apple, wherever. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't already. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of that. And just thank you so much for giving me a few minutes to tell you a little bit about this chapter. I reread it yesterday before I did this video, and it encouraged me. I encouraged myself. I don't know. And it's not even me. It's God's truth, right? It's God's truth that encouraged me. So please read it and be encouraged yourself. And next week is chapter 7. We'll be already up to chapter 7 already. And that's a doozy. That's a good one. Is all about not compromising. So please stick around and check that video out next week. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you later.